So welcome everyone, good morning or good afternoon. My name is Efthalia Anagnostou. I work as a product marketer at Lumivero, specialized in data analysis and software solutions. In today's session, I will spend most of our time inside the XLSTAT interface, exploring how to use its key functionalities and how to quickly turn raw data into insights in a few clicks. I've also popped here my email address if you want to connect after this session or if you have any further questions. Okay, so just want to start by saying that I first discovered XLSTAT a few years ago, back in 2015, when I've started as a data analyst. And I would love to kick off the session by sharing what makes XLSTAT so unique. From both my personal experience and customer feedback, what truly sets it apart, it's a combination of power and accessibility. If you have already worked with XLSTAT, you already know that it's fully integrated with Microsoft Excel using an intuitive interface, a click and button interface and ribbon. So no new syntax or coding required here. And behind that simple user interface, there is some serious computational power built on a high performance engine powered by AI insights, a streamlined workflow. So the results are right here on this slide you see in your screen, beautiful visualizations and other outputs that I'm going to show you in a few minutes through the live demo. This is how it works. It's in 4 simple steps, which is more or less very similar to how other statistical software works. The main difference here is that from the beginning to the end, everything happens within Microsoft Excel, not switching between platforms. These are some of the core features you can find in the software, and I'm going to focus on the first 2. And I also want to announce some great news. We have received a badge by Captura. So XLSTAT is voted as the best ease of use software for machine learning. Let's see how it works. I'm going to exit PowerPoint and switch to XLSTAT. In the meantime, while I'm doing that, feel free to drop any questions if you have in the chat. Okay, the simplest way to open XLSTAT is just browse it from your Windows or Mac search bar. I've already pre-installed XLSTAT on my computer, so that will open automatically a new Excel workbook, an empty one, because we don't have data right now, with an additional tab called XLSTAT. So what you see here is the main ribbon. It's divided in subgroups under which there is a list of functionalities. Sometimes you have, 5, 10, and then, you can also get a lot more as you go to more field-oriented and specialized statistical methods. For this session, I'm going to focus on the basic analysis, what I call, so descriptive statistics, data visualization, and modeling. And everything works in a click and button interface, which looks like that, very similar to what you already have in other Excel add-ons. But so that we can start, we need some data. And for this demo, I've pre-downloaded data from the Kaggle website. It's a simple data set consisting of 7 variables and a bit more than 300 rows. A very common question about XLSTAT here is if it can handle large volume data. The answer is yes. For that, you need to use the advanced importation method, which is available in every functionality. So then XLSTAT will upload the millions of data points into the computer's memory. But for this exercise, I want to be able to see my data in the Excel spreadsheet. So I can only go to up to a little bit more than 1 million data points if I wanted to. Okay, what we have here is a combination of quantitative and qualitative variables. We have, it's about health insurance data. We have insurance charges in column G, and then we have attributes of insured people like age, whether they have children, whether they are smokers, and so on. And observations represent the individuals. But you can also imagine this adapted to your own field and data. We can have sample ID or objects in lines and other type of variables in columns. There is also a possibility to transform the table. So even if you have observations in columns and attributes in rows, XLSTAT will still recognize this data format. And something else I also want to let you know is that you can import other data formats. For example, if you have previously exported data from SPSS or Minitab, then there is a function that will help you transform your data and import them into XLSTAT, which is available under the XLSTAT R. And this is a interface that connects XLSTAT and R, which opens unlimited possibilities since we can import any R library and function within XLSTAT. So that's something interesting to know. Okay, let's see how well we can do with XLSTAT here. And there are so many options because the right choice of the statistical method it depends on the question we are trying to answer and the objective of our research. So here we can do something simple and explore whether the attributes have an effect and impact on the insurance charges. It will be interesting to start actually with basic descriptive statistics, which in XLSTAT is under this menu here. And the first feature is one of the most used functionalities by our users. After we click, there is the dialog box, which is structured in a similar way like Excel interfaces. We have a general tab. This is super important. This is where we need to import our variables and select data. The simplest way to do that, and what most of the users prefer, is click within the field box and then using your mouse or touchpad, select the column. So you can select a single column if you want to run descriptive statistics on, let's say, insurance charges, or multiple adjacent or non-adjacent columns if you want to have multiple quantitative. Now, okay, let's delete this one. That is another way, which is more handy if you have thousands of variables. So right here, if we click once and then click again inside the field box, there is another window popping up that lists all the different variables you have in the Excel spreadsheet. So then I can simply select what I want to include in the analysis, click OK, and then I'm ready to analyze. OK, but I'm going to reset the dialog box so that I can do the easy way, the simple way. OK, so let's say charges. Yes, forgot to mention that there are also two views of the dialog box. This is the simple one, and it's ideal for XLSTAT beginners. But if you have if you're very familiar with statistics and descriptive statistics, and you are an advanced user of XLSTAT, then advanced view is what I would recommend, because it adds automatically other tabs where you can customize your analysis and change the by default settings, remove or add more outputs, and customize your charts. And this is what I'm going to use here, since I've already done this thousands of times. Okay. We could stop here, but I think it will be interesting to add subsamples, because this will allow us not only to run descriptive statistics on the insurance charges, but also see whether there is a difference between, let's say, insurance charges of people who smoke and people who don't. Okay, let's see if we can add a box plot. Yes, we can. And I would like a side-by-side box plot, so we can, this is the right option to choose here. You can add legend, you can position the labels as you wish, you can sort by mean, and once I'm happy with the settings, click OK, and in a few seconds, I get the XLSTAT report. Now, this generates an extra, a new tab right after the data, your data file. It starts with a summary of what data range you've selected and what we call action buttons. The first one, for example, can be used after updating your initial data, and you want to rerun the analysis and generate new output. The rest of them are about exporting data into Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, and the AI Assistant, and something that I will leave it for the end. Okay, so what are these reports? Basically, they contain, most of the times, tables and charts. And what I like is that you can customize it and use proper Excel design options to modify the colors, zoom on the axis, change the labels, etc. You can also copy paste it, format, etc. Okay. In terms of interpretation, I can go back to the dialog box and click on the little help button. Okay, let me show you how to do that. So here, help. So this will open the help documentation file where you can see what a box plot is and how to interpret it. Or I can use the AI assistant. So, but be patient, that will be in a few minutes. Now, another thing I could do here, since we already observing a few, some difference between the two groups, could be a two sample t-test to confirm whether the difference is significant or not. So moving from a univariate analysis to a bivariate one. Or I can try something different, such as a correlation test, so that I can add more variables to my analysis. Okay, let's say the Pearson test. Same, I need to select variables, so charges, BMI, age, children. We only want quantitative variables here. And then most of the times, if it's your first time using XLSTAT, you can use the by default settings, which have been defined by the statisticians and the people who have developed this dialog box. And in most of the cases, they do very well the job. So this report is a bit longer, more complete, because we moved from descriptive statistics to a more complex analysis. We have the p-values of the Pearson correlation test, correlation maps with warm colors indicating a positive correlation, etc. And we have other type of correlation maps patterns. So we can already see which of the attributes impact the insurance charges. So that's something, it's another feature that is interesting here. And under visualizing data, let's see, we could also run scatter plot and histogram, or even 2D plot for crosstabs for the qualitative variables. We could also run a test on contingency tables to see whether there is a dependency between a smoker region or the sex and the number of children. But there is a way to accelerate this process if you are uncertain of which XLSTAT features to run. And this is where the AI assistant becomes very handy. We have implemented this a few months ago, and it literally, I think it changed the life of the users in terms of speed and accessibility, especially for those without deep statistical knowledge. Let me show you how it works. It's in a single step. What it will do here is describe the entire data set and share the key findings, but also conclusions and suggestions on what modeling or other analysis we should be running afterwards. So there's a single data selection window, so much simpler dialog box than the previous one. This will use OpenAI technology with a ready-to-execute prompt, and this is what the AI assistant tells. Okay, so what I can do is copy paste this to my Excel workbook. Yes, okay, here it is. So this is the full exploration mode, because if you notice, there are 3 levels of insight. So this one will give you a very detailed summary of the data description, starting with a data set overview. How many rows do I have? How many columns? The nature of my variables. Are there any missing values? Are there any outliers? Well, there aren't here. Followed by descriptive statistics for the numerical variables, so 3 of them. Then going into the categorical variables, you have very basic descriptive statistics, okay? So mean, max, mean, standard deviation for the numerical, and then category counts and frequencies for the categorical. If you do want additional descriptive statistics like skewness and kurtosis, you can go back to the descriptive statistics feature and then select just the ones you would like for your data. And what I like the most about AI Assistant is the further analysis suggestions and visualization suggestions, and which, it's pretty much, it agrees with what we have already done. We run a correlation test. We talked about chi-square test on contingency table that could be interesting for analyzing the relationship between sex and smoker status, an analysis of variance. So that's something we can try based on these suggestions to see if the mean charges across different regions have a significant effect on the healthcare charges. And then these are some of the visualizations that we could run. Okay, we already talked about scatter plots, histograms, etc. So this is a very solid and good start that I feel gives the user confidence on how to proceed. What are the next steps? But the assistant doesn't stop here. So the first role, as we showed, is describe the data. But what is really powerful is when it interprets the outputs of an XLSTAT analysis. And let me show you how it does that. Let's run the ANOVA as suggested here, analysis of variance. I'm going to run a single and one-way ANOVA using charges as the response variable and region as the explanatory variable. Analysis of variance is under the modeling data menu. Quantitative, this will be column G, and qualitative, region. Okay, so reminder, the aim here is to see whether region has a significant effect on the healthcare charges mean. Analysis of variance will have way more rows and the report, because I'm going to use this arrow here to take you straight to the end. So we are almost on 1,500 rows of outputs, charts. Okay, let me go back. Of course, summary, statistics, and the very essential, starting with goodness of fit statistics, the ANOVA table, and model parameters. Okay. Standardized coefficients, predictions, residuals. Okay, so it seems there is some kind of impact, but the overall effect is quite weak. Now, if this is the first time you're running analysis of a variance, you might feel overwhelmed by the number of outputs. Of course, you can go to the XLSTAT website and look for a tutorial, but here is the magic button of the AI assistant right on the top. And for some weird reason, so as you know, every time you have a live demo, something happens on your computer or the software, and it didn't work properly. So just to make sure that I can show you the final result, I have copy pasted here the report from the AI assistant. But let me show you how it works. Okay, so once you've clicked here, you can select either all the analysis of variance tables and charts. You see, every line corresponds to the table title or the chart title. You have summary statistics, correlation, and etc. Okay, if you want all of them, then click OK. And same as before, it calls OpenAI and then pops up a new window with the AI interpretation that it may take some time, so I have already copy pasted here. And this is beautiful. Well, it's a full exploration mode, so you can also get a shorter and more concise report by choosing the quick insights mode. Okay. So what it tells you here is, first of all, an overview of the analysis methodology, what the ANOVA is and what is objective here, why we run this specific method. And then you get a detailed breakdown of the results. Okay. Yeah, this is right. So as suspected, the model explains a very small percentage of the variability. The ANOVA table reveals a significant effect, and so on. Therefore, the conclusion is that XLSTAT does indicate that the region has some impact on charges, but the overall influence is limited. And this is the most interesting part, because what we understood here is that we need to add further attributes, further explanatory variables to see if they play a role in determining charges. So the next step might be running again the ANOVA, but this time we can add more exploratory variables like smoker and sex, or we can even run and uncover and add quantitative exploratory variables like the age, BMI, and the children. A very useful tip here, if we switch to the advanced mode, is selecting a model selection algorithm like the best model or the stepwise, so that XLSTAT tries every single combination of the exploratory variables and decides which are the most important for the model. Okay. Well, so I hope that this was a good overview of the AI Assistant and some of the most used features. But I also wanted to show you a very helpful menu at the end of the ribbon. We start with the My Assistant. And it's another great way to learn how to use XLSTAT. I like the Run Your First Analysis. These are simply the name of the XLSTAT package. Okay, so if you have Essential, then you'll have access to these features. I'm going to click ANOVA, which will open a demo file. Okay, that uses sometimes a fictitious data set or a real one, and we have pre-configured the analysis and run it, interpret the results. So it's a nice way to go through that by clicking on the buttons, and then read through the report and the interpretation. It's very similar to AI Assistant, but these are pre-built demo files within XLSTAT. So you'll find it under My Assistant and Run Your First Analysis. You also have access to shorter tutorials, videos, webinars, and of course, you can contact our customer support, which are super efficient and very expert statisticians. There are shortcuts as well, so you can access the help documentation through this little button in every single dialog box. So you can choose, what source you would like to consult. Yeah, I would like to take a little pause here. I know this is a lot of information. Torgrim, if you could, I would like to open a Q&A session and see whether I can help with that.
Yeah, Talia, thank you. And with that, I also would like to introduce my colleague and licensed experts for XLSTAT in Gothenburg, Sweden, Mehmet. Mehmet, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, if everyone can hear me well.
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly. So, do we have any questions for Talia?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, can I just say something really quickly about XLSTAT?
Of course.
I would like to thank Talia first, because this was a really helpful presentation to show us, because I know this XLSTAT AI assistant feature is pretty new. It was introduced in May, so it was a couple of months ago. And I'm sure, like with all the AI boom we are going through these days in the world, like it will be so much better. It will only get better from here. So, and I like about XLSTAT in general, I can say that this is one of the best statistical tools out there, and I think it's very underrated. It has to be so much more popular than it currently is. So I ask everyone here joining us today that like please help us spread the word about XLSTAT. It has to be more popular. Please yourselves trial it. and you will see that it's a great product and it's so helpful with your work. Okay, without further ado, let me ask some of the questions I received. First of all, Talia, thank you very much again.
You're welcome.
Can you please tell us a bit more about compatibility of XLSTAT? Can it be run on Mac and Windows both?
Yes, both on Mac and Windows, and I believe any recent Excel version. So I mean, unless you have Excel 2003,
Okay, yeah. So
and there
and
absolutely
how
will.
does it work with now that like Windows is, I think, ending support for Windows 10, Microsoft. So do the users have to have Microsoft 11, or like does it work with Microsoft 10 as well? How is that?
Oh yes, of course, it will continue working with Windows 10. It will not impact the
Okay,
compatibility.
great. And like, does that impact how it handles? Because you mentioned this already in your presentation,
Yeah.
but so does my operating system affect the ability of handling large volume data, or is it equally effective for both Mac and Windows? Like, how does it work with like large sizes
Uh,
of data?
yes, Windows and Mac doesn't play a role, but your Excel version does. So if I have Excel 2000 between Excel 2010, let's say, and Excel 2019, we don't find the same limitations. So the more recent Excel version you have, the more data you can import in the Excel interface.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, I mean, I guess like in general, we have to keep our systems up to date anyway for all like security reasons as well. So that's a good idea anyway.
Oh, yes, of
Uh,
course. And
yeah.
as I already mentioned, even in the case where um, Excel has limitations
Mm,
and you have, let's say, 10 millions of data points, there is
mm.
there is a turnaround, okay, that I haven't showed here. Uh, but let me do that very, very quickly. There is an advanced importation method. So after clicking here twice, you can import a flat data file, CSV, TXT, etc., which exceeds Excel's limitation. Okay, then you select your file path, and then preview allows you to visualize a part of your data. Once you've done this, you can go back to the dialog box and select the variables. The only difference is that you're not going to see the millions of data points in the Excel workbook. They will be simply uploaded to the XLSTAT memory.
Mm. I was actually going to bring that up now, so it's good that you mentioned it.
Yeah.
Let's talk a bit about that because I'm sure there are a lot of people who may be concerned about it. For example, so where is my data stored when I'm using XLStat? Like, how does it how how does it go with data privacy and security standards when
Your
we are
data,
using XLStat?
your data are stored on your computer.
Okay,
XLSTAT
so
is
it's
not a
not
cloud.
stored in any cloud or anything like that.
No, no. So right here is my folder I prepared for Alfasoft. So my data are stored as SAV because I exported from another software, XLSLM. So they are just stored locally on my computer, and even after uploading them into, it's not really uploading into XLSTAT, it's opening an Excel file, and this is where it stays. It doesn't
Mm,
leave this environment.
nice, that's good to know. And also that's also the case, I assume, when it comes to the AI assistant. So we
Oh
don't.
yes, the AI assistant doesn't share, and even when a prompt is executed, every data is automatically deleted.
All right.
Nothing
I
is,
also,
is stored.
yeah, yeah, that's great to know. I also see now in our question section, someone wrote, here are a few of us who want to learn more about time series analysis using this add-on. Can you speak about that today? Maybe is this something you plan on speaking about? Or can
I
you show
wasn't
us
planning.
some features about time series analysis?
Yes, yeah, for sure. Well, I don't have the right data for that,
Mm.
but what I can do is open my assistant and show you the pre-built demo data we have, if that works for you.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
If you have, so I just read the question that came to us from the question section. If anyone in the audience has questions, like more specific questions about certain analyses, please write it to us, and then let's see what we can do given the data we have in hand today. But yeah, let's see. Let's see for now.
Yeah. Well, very quickly, the time series functionalities is about visualizing and describing time series, but also transforming time series. Let's see what the, yes, using Cox transformation or differencing. You can also run a few non-parametric tests to identify seasonal trends. You can run stationarity tests, and then there are methods for predictions like smoothing and ARIMA. ARIMA, I think, is the most used here, where you can even integrate explanatory variables to predict future data points. So if you go under My Assistant, run your analysis, and open the pre-built ARIMA demo, this is what you will see. So if you keep clicking on next, you will see how the time series dataset should be structured in XLSTAT. You have a column for the dates. So here, in this specific case, each row corresponds to a month. Then you have your response variable. You can also have explanatory ones. And it shows you how to set up the ARIMA dialog box, how to model the parameters, and how to interpret the data. And on top of time series methods, you can also run Monte Carlo simulations.
Yeah, I was just actually about to mention that because we also received another question about the Monte Carlo simulation. But so I think the question here is it included in this program? Yes, definitely. But so there are different solution packages of XLSTAT, and Monte Carlo simulation is included in the advanced package. Am I
That
right,
is right.
Talia? Yeah.
That
And
is right.
also that's the package that also gives you the option of AI assistant.
Exactly. AI Assistant is only available right now in XLSTAT Advanced. So very quickly, the three packages, the XLSTAT Essentials cover everything from preparing data to testing for outliers. So 80%, let's say, of the XLSTAT features. Then you have XLSTAT Standard, which is designed for sensory research and consumer insights. This will give you everything included in Essentials with sensory and marketing features. And then everything else is part of the XLSTAT Advanced, including the AI and the connector to R.
While we're on the subject, again, coming back to the AI topic, because like I can't get enough of talking about AI. So let's assume I'm a teacher and I would like to use XLSTAT to teach statistics to my students. But I don't want them to use the AI features because I want them to learn how to do these things manually first. Is it possible for me as a teacher, if I have, let's say, a classroom license, is it possible for me to turn off the AI assistant?
Yes, and that's a very good point, Mehmet. Yes, it is possible. It isn't feasible for the own user to go in the XLSTAT options and deactivate the AI assistant. You will need to contact customer support, and then we will modify this within your license, and that will deactivate the AI assistant for the classroom or campus license.
That sounds great. If I don't have any more questions, actually. Do we have any questions from the audience? Anything you're wondering about XLSTAT? Anything you would like to compare to other statistical tools?
Well, while waiting for more questions, I couldn't agree more with you with what you said at the beginning, that XLSTAT deserves to be more popular. I've pretty much tried all traditional statistical software, and it's much more. What I said, it's simple, intuitive, but powerful. There's no way you could run all these analysis and generate the outputs in simple Excel add-ons. Of course, you can
Exactly.
do it in R and Python, but then you need to learn a new syntax or code. And then a very good question, yes, but what about other software like SPSS, Stata, etc.? I think the strength of XLSTAT is its in-house R&D team. We have been running innovation since 20 years. We have statisticians and researchers in our team that go to conferences, they learn constantly, and then they come back and they make sure that the latest statistical methods, the latest trends are being added in XLSTAT, and that we evolve the interface and the ribbon so that it becomes quicker and easier every year. So today in the market, you can find some outdated and old-fashioned software. XLSTAT is not that.
That actually reminded me of another. There's okay. Let's do it like this. So there is another question now in the question section that I can see. Let's answer that, and then I will have another question. So the first question is how it differs from SPSS and R. Maybe you can answer this, like the difference between XLSTAT and SPSS and
Yeah.
R.
Well, the answer between XLSTAT and R is very straightforward. R is an open source programming language. Certainly, it's for free. Certainly, you have access to unlimited functions, but you need to learn how to code. If there is a bug or you are blocked for XY reasons, there is not a dedicated customer support. So, if you're an expert in R, then of course that would be the ideal solution. But if you prefer to work within Microsoft Excel and get everything in a few clicks with some really advanced methods, then XLSTAT is a better choice. It's all about what is your user profile, where you prefer to work, what is your level of statistical knowledge. And then between SPSS and XLSTAT, well, the main difference again is that XLSTAT is fully integrated with Microsoft Excel, where data is usually stored. So you don't need to switch between platforms. We also offer way more functionalities. So we have more than 300 covering Literally every research field and industry field, from agriculture, biology, life sciences, uh, sensory field, marketing, finance.
This actually, so the next questions that we have are from the audience, are about that, actually, like about the functionality of XLSTAT, like the features. So one of our attendees is asking, what about propensity score analysis and then also matched pair analysis? Actually, before Talia answers this, I have an idea. My email address, so like with all these features XLSTAT can run, there is a list of features, which is, as Talia mentioned, more than 300. So if you are interested in all the features XLSTAT can do or can't do, just drop me an email and I will send you the list of features. And then you can even explore the things that you haven't thought of before. In that sense, that can also help. My email address is mehmet@alfasoft.com. Now, Talia, back to you. Can you please answer if
Yeah, of
XLSTAT
course.
can run? Yeah,
Do you mind
propensity
if I
score
share
analysis
again?
and sure,
Do you mind
sure,
if
yeah.
yeah, no worries. This is under the life sciences module and survival analysis. Here it is, propensity score matching.
Yeah.
I don't have a dedicated demo data set for that on hand, so I will not be
Yeah,
able
that's so
to
understandable because like all these
showcase.
things require many like different data sets. So it's
Yes,
impossible to be prepared
of
for
course.
all types of analyses.
Yeah, it cannot be run with
Yeah,
every single data
yeah,
set.
exactly. I was about to ask also, can you maybe talk a little bit, because we talked about XLSTAT's advantages against SPSS and R, not to mention SPSS and R, like I'm not trying to say SPSS and R are lacking this, but we also need to probably mention that XLSTAT has a huge library of tutorials and guides. This is also like one of the most common questions I receive about XLSTAT. Can you maybe show us a bit about like XLSTAT's library of guides
It does.
and tutorials? Yeah.
It does, yes. So okay, let's go back to a main dialog box and click on the help button. The first one is what I call the technical manual. It will open a PDF, and then here you can search for the method you want to run, select it, and then you've got the description. You can even see the formulas that we have used to implement the method in XLSTAT. Because this is more of a, from a technical
Theoretical,
standpoint,
yeah.
theoretical standpoint. But
Yeah.
then at the end, you get, at the very end, a link to, oh gosh, this is long. References. Okay, I can longer found it, so I will go from a simple way. Online tutorials. Yes, this is probably the quickest way. So you click online tutorials, skip verification, and that takes you to the Lumivero community. Okay, I'll go to the homepage of the knowledge base. Okay, you don't need to have an account to view that. View articles. Then it's grouped by category, so we may want to click on tutorials for the more statistical ones. Let's pick up one like principal component analysis. Okay, all tutorials are structured on the same way. You get a description of the dataset used that you can download on the right-hand side, the goal, how to set up the analysis. You can even view screenshots and then interpreting the results. A very detailed explanation.
Yeah.
which sometimes goes even beyond the AI assistant.
It's also great that people can just download the example data set and just try this on their own, like especially when they are trialing the software, for example, because they
Yes,
have like 14 days of free trial. So they can just download these data sets and try to do the, like just follow the instructions and see how
yes,
the program actually works.
exactly. You can download, you can even just click on the rerun button here to reopen the, oh, I have a, I don't know why it's not working here, but you can click here and open the pre-configured dialog box. Everything is accessible for free. You don't need to have an XLSTAT license. And what I've noticed is that we also have non-XLSTAT users going to the online library just to learn about how a statistical method works.
Exactly.
Yes.
Before we wrap up, because like we have very little time left, there is one very interesting question. Let me just read it. Since XLSTAT is AI integrated, any chance or instances when the AI might hallucinate and give you wrong answers? How can we be sure that the AI is guiding us correctly, given hallucinations are common? Interesting question.
Yes, it is very interesting. So in the case of XLSTAT, so the difference between you, me, or any user going to ChatGPT or another AI tool, writing a prompt, and XLSTAT is the reliability and the efficiency. The prompts that XLSTAT runs are very carefully designed by the statisticians, the developers, okay, people with high expertise. So it's all about asking the right, question. So there's very little chances that the AI assistant returns non-accurate results. But of course, the more you train it, the better results you get. And it never hurts to cross-validate or just
Exactly.
check if it makes sense.
I also would like to mention, just to avoid any confusions here, like XLSTAT is AI integrated, there's an AI assistant, but it's not entirely run on AI. So the analysis results are not AI generated. They are like XLSTAT runs on C++, as far as I know. So it's not like you are writing some prompts in ChatGPT and receiving results and you're not sure about the accuracy of the results. We are sure about the accuracy of the results. Like AI assistant might make mistakes, and then in that case, we need to, of course, validate the result or like the suggestions. But the program itself is run by C++, so there is no doubt about that. It's
Oh, yes.
basically, yeah. So
There
I
shouldn't be any
just
confusion here. AI
yeah.
is just a feature that describes data if you want to. If you prefer to use its own descriptive statistic function, then it's even better because you will get deeper insights. But the computations are years of research and innovation by the R&D team, and as you said, C++ computations. And that's another confusion. People think, oh, XLSTAT, Excel, that may be not very fast and performant, but the Excel and the VBA part are only used for the ribbon and the dialog box. Everything else is C++ computations.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, so this was all of my questions, and I think we are out of time. Thank you so much,
Yes.
Talia. It was a really good conversation.
Thank you.
So if there are more questions, again, you can either email me, Mehmet@alfasoft.com, or you can just email info@alfasoft.com, and then I'll pick it up. That was it. Torgrim, would you like to step in again?
Yeah, thank you both, and thank you especially for your great presentation, Talia. I will switch screen to the
Yes.
next
Thanks
presentation.
the audience for your attention and the interesting questions. It's always a pleasure.